We're joined by Dr. Christy Fleming with Fleming Dermatology and Aesthetics Center. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being back.
Happy to be here.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So I want to start off with kind of the sad subject of Jimmy Buffett's passing, but one of the cause of his death was a long bout with Merkel cell carcinoma. And so I'm guessing a lot of people have been coming to you and saying, what is this? Is this Merkel cell? And right? And what is it exactly? How do you know the difference and what that is between some other kind of skin lesions?
Oh, that's a good question. That's what makes my job kind of hard. Merkel cell is a tricky type of skin cancer in that it doesn't always present in the same way. It can look sometimes a little bit red, sometimes a little bit more red-purple.
Okay.
So it makes the diagnosis hard. But yes, everyone is coming in and asking, what is this? Do I have it?
Yeah, and we have a couple slides I want to take a look at because they look very different to me. Like you said, they can look very different. This one looks almost like a pimple, like, oh, don't try to pop this. But how can you tell that that is something that's, that's Merkel, so that's a problem?
So it presents as a painless lesion. So usually pimples or bug bites are at least a little bit symptomatic. That they're painful or itchy. This usually doesn't have any symptoms whatsoever.
Okay.
Typically found on sun-exposed areas, so most commonly on the head and neck.
Okay.
Sometimes also on the arms.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where. And now we have another one on the eye, and this one's not super fun to look at, but obviously this is one that somebody came in and said we need to take a look at this. This is seriously a problem, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so that one, and that one doesn't look like the other one. So it's like that's
no, it looks very different.
Like you say, one of the white. That's why you get paid the big bucks, so to speak. And you went to medical school, and you have to be able to determine, okay, this is something that's serious, right?
Exactly. So anything that's new, it's not going away. It's not behaving the way that we would expect it to.
Right.
It's definitely something you want to have checked out.
Yeah, and as an adult, we shouldn't all of a sudden have new moles. That's kind of a telltale sign, right?
Right. You should not be getting new moles after the age of about 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you do have other more what we call maturity spots that do keep popping up.
Yeah, age spots, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so how do I know if I have MCC? It has to be diagnosed, right?
It has to be diagnosed, and I would definitely see a board-certified dermatologist because they are very rare, and someone who's not seeing skin every single day, they're probably just not familiar with it. Yeah.
Okay. So it turned to deadly for Jimmy Buffett. What kind of stage? I know you didn't diagnose him. I'm not asking you, but in general, what does something like that have to get to before, when it becomes like something they're fighting your life for?
Merkel cell, fortunately, it is rare, but it is very aggressive, and because it's asymptomatic, they're typically found at a later stage than we would like. So. It metastasizes very quickly, and once that metastasis has happened, then you have to cut it out with surgery, and then there's also adjunctive therapy with radiation and chemotherapy, immunotherapy. It's kind of, if you can get it at the stage where it hasn't spread throughout the body yet, then it has a pretty good prognosis, but once it's out, then it's very difficult to treat it.
Okay. And is the metastasis, do they show up in other parts of your skin, or is it also, can it sometimes go internally?
Usually it will first go to the lymph nodes, but yes,
goodness,
it can go internally. It can go to other parts of the skin. Sometimes the original primary spot will even disappear, which is odd, and we'll find it just in the metastasized stage.
Okay. Yeah. So, like you said, the treatment has to be pretty aggressive, I'm guessing, right? In terms of when we know there's metastasis.
Right.
Okay. So we have a little more fun. Let's have a little more fun here. Okay. So we have this eye drops called Upneek. And there's some eye drops, and they're kind of like just kind of a brightener. It's this is the aesthetic part of what you do in the center.
Yeah, this is my day. I go from very serious things to very fun things and everything in between.
So we had our somebody who works here, Brittany. We had her take the eye drops. We have a before and after image on the screen. And what does it do? It just kind of brightens up your eye. How does it work?
Right. So it's an individual little dropper. So basically just an eye drop that you put in each eye. And it stimulates an involuntary muscle that's in the upper eyelid. It's called the Mueller's muscle. And that helps to open the eye a little bit. And then it also helps to constrict the blood vessels inside the eye so that the eye looks more white.
Okay.
So the eyes look bigger and brighter.
Okay, so it kind of have a Visine kind of effect, but also it kind of makes your eyes just open up more naturally. They look a little bigger and brighter. So, and does it affect the same person or people differently a little bit? Some it works a little better on some, so it's kind of a hit and miss.
Right. So if someone has a very hooded lid, like you have a little bit more hooding to your eye.
I'm droopy.
Right. So you're not going to see as much of an effect as someone who doesn't quite have that, because it's not going to lift this part of the skin. It just opens the eyelid itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have like almost a second eyelid coming down here. We're going to have to do something about that someday. So what are some of the other services you provide at the center in terms of, you do regular, obviously, skin checks, dermatology, you know, burning stuff. I've had my face zapped and popped a lot of times, so I know that's part of it. But on the aesthetic side, what are some of the things that people can go there for?
Well, we do pretty much the whole gamut. I do a lot of filler, a lot of Botox, a lot of lasers, chemical peels. We have a Morpheus machine, which helps with skin tightening and getting rid of that laxity that happens with aging. We do earlobe repairs, a lot of skin cancer surgery and repairs associated with that.
On the aesthetic side, what are some of the biggest things that folks come in with in terms of, like, they've aged, they have a little age behind them, they say, I want to look brighter, better. What are some of the things that are the most popular things that you do?
Usually women come in saying, I'm tired of people telling me I look tired.
We'll get you the eye drops first, and then what else can you do for them?
A little bit of Botox goes a long way. It just helps to soften. You know, women, as we age, unfortunately, things start to turn down, so we look either sad or mad. Men are lucky enough that they look just a little bit more distinguished with.
Well, we already look mad in the first place, so we don't change that much.
Maybe. Sometimes it's just as little as changing your skincare regimen. As our skin ages, we kind of need to change the way that we're treating it. Our products that we used when we were a teenager aren't really going to apply so much to more mature skin.
Ivory soap and whatever it might be. So really, sometimes it can be just as simple as, let's try this soap, let's try this moisturizer, and let's see what we can do, right? So it doesn't have to be that extreme approach.
Right, and I tend to err on the side of underdoing it. I'm very conservative that way. I don't like to make it look like people have been done. I just want you to
I don't want to look like I got help.
Right. I just don't want it to look like you, but like you got a really good night's sleep, or don't have patients, just tell people that you got a new pillow. You know, you're sleeping better.
Oh man, I'm getting some great sleep. On the medical side of things, what is the basic recommendation for when people just, you know, unless I see something, like I said, oh, there's something here, I need to get that checked. Maybe some people don't go to a dermatologist on a regular basis. At what age should you really start making that kind of an annual visit?
Right. We very much recommend an annual visit for a full body skin exam, and that's where you're changed into a gown, and we look at you from head to toe, really anywhere that there's skin. There are pediatric dermatologists that, you know, focus more on the younger patients, but definitely here in Southern California, anywhere past age of 30, you should be having a yearly exam. More frequently if you've had things burned off or if you've had skin cancer. Yeah, we keep a bit of a closer eye on you. Yeah,
like maybe every 6 months. I go in every 6 months because I've had little things burned off. I had a little carcinoma coming right there. Like I said, hey, that's a new mole. I shouldn't be getting new moles.
Right. Or anything that's bleeding or just not healing, something that's scabbing and it kind of goes away but then keeps coming back. If you're shaving and there's a spot that keeps bleeding, or when you're drying off with a towel.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Dr. Fleming from Fleming Dermatology and Aesthetic Center, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.